what a year last year. I mean, you kind of got thrown into the fire immediately. Have you had a chance to kind of look back at day 2 of the year and you're at Wrigley Field and pretty much stayed almost the entire year?
Yeah, I mean, it was a dream come true. Always be thankful for that year. I got a lot to learn. Learned a lot. Made some adjustments necessary this offseason and ready to go.
So let's talk about those adjustments, right? So you and I talked about it briefly at the beginning of camp. For those who haven't heard that yet, what's the explanation and what's kind of the thought behind what you're doing with your swing?
Yeah, it's pretty simple. Make more contact, better things happen. Just trying to cut down on the swing and miss. Everything's a little more simple. Lowered the load, I guess, in terms of movement. Set the hands a little bit more so there's no, not going fishing as much before. So just kind of simple things.
This is a swing that for you is like kind of like your calling card.
Yeah.
This big swing, even throughout the minors. And obviously the big leagues didn't go your way, but how do you, kind of sit there at the start of the offseason and be like, all right, I'm ready to make this change? Aside from obviously the numbers, what makes you ready? I'm ready to start working.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to completely overhaul in the middle of the season. There was a ton of little subtle adjustments, but I do think I needed more, and that's what this offseason was about. Kind of just reflecting and realizing what I needed to do.
What's the process like? So once you're actually in the cage, are you watching a lot of video, just taking as much velo as you can? Take me through what that process is.
Yeah, there was a lot of machine, a lot of velo, a lot of spin, a lot of just kind of figuring out where I can get to in terms of not losing my swing, what makes me me, but at the same time cutting back, but not trying to be completely robotic because everyone hits different. I can't just get in there and stand there straight here. So.
I was talking to Yelly about hitting too, and it's just like, there's no one way to hit. And there's a lot of voices that can get into, big leaguers, and just like, hey, you should do this, and you should do this, and this. How do you manage to filter all of that and say, like, I think this works for me, or who's your support system to help you figure all that out?
Yeah, I mean, you got to be a sponge, take stuff from everybody, but at the same time recognize what works for you, what won't.
So with the year that's ahead, and obviously it's a crowded outfield room right now, your defense was awesome last year. What do you hope can carry over? What impressed you about your season last year on the defensive side?
Yeah, I mean, I was happy with the way I played out there. It's something I take pride in. Hope the pitchers always know I got their back. So kind of just trying to continue that, but realizing I need to do more with the bat.
And looking around, I mean, you've got Jackson, you've got Garrett, you've got Sal, who's going to be playing the outfield, who knows? And then you've still got so much talent in this outfield room that was coming up through the system, kind of sort of together. Were these conversations ever happening? It's like, hey, we might be all arriving right about the same time.
That's not my job. I'm not trying to figure that out. I just go out there and play the game, and the chips will fall where they will.
See ball, hit ball, right?
Amen.
Those people.
Yeah.